Okay, hi there boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. So we're here for Tip Top EU Open Scrims, Lobby A this evening. Our first map is going to be Erangel. Happy to say that I'm joined in co-commentary this evening by my good buddy from Deathly Hallows, Jammy. How you doing, Jammy?
Evening Vimes, doing well, looking forward to it. So, as you know, I haven't seen these scrims before. I've seen but not commentated on, so I'm going to be interested to see what the tactics of some of the teams are, and just see if I can learn a little from them.
Very, very fast, very aggressive play.
Yep.
Expect to see final zones with 30, 40 people still running around.
Yeah, one thing, having watched some of the streams before, the final zone is going to be full of vehicles and tactical and throwables.
Alright, let's have a look. Okay, here we go. So there's our flight line. We're going from just outside Primorskan Quarry up to Stelba. So Millbase certainly in range for a long dropper for an early exit from the plane, or hit the road towards Ferry Pier, hit a vehicle. School in range, Pachinki certainly in range. Hospital and George Paul potentially. So lots of opportunity for these guys.
Yeah, and at this level, they have the compounds that they like to go to and that they know like the back of their hand. So even with a flight line like this, where it potentially cuts out some of the map, they will probably still want to try and get to the areas that they know and that they practice.
So we've got a lot of early exits coming from the plane. And yeah, let's keep looks like a couple of teams may well be heading towards Pachinki. We'll keep an eye on that.
Looks like we've got a few, like you say, long dropping across to the mini base. But Team 8 have got the southwestern edge of the map to themselves.
Yeah. And there's a big concentration, southeast of this flight line, going towards Mill Base, or certainly around the area north of the Mill Base. Let's have a quick look at squad number 24. They've certainly got people around them. So they're in a vehicle immediately. And oh, hello. Let's start running people over, shall we? And,
doesn't matter what level of scrim you play.
Get on the vehicle! Get on the vehicle! Run away!
So they've all got the same idea, and they're all strong enough. So we've got a couple escaping on a motorbike.
So that's the guys from GS. They're chasing down Team 23, which is Gaijin. Somebody's got hold of some guns now, so a few shots popping out.
They'll be doing well to catch a motorbike in that thing.
Yeah, but we'll see if they want to get looted or see if they want to pursue the kill. Hello, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
That is the Xeno Tactics School of Driving, right there, boys and girls.
Doesn't matter what level you play at, everyone goes to the same driving school.
Okay, there's our first zone. We're shifting towards the north and west. So Millbase Island, whilst in contention at the moment, won't be in contention for long. Let's check out team number 21. That's EAS. And that's not a good sign. That's a screen freeze. Thank you very much for that.
We know it happens to the best of us. There we go. It's just...
Thank you. Ooh, yeah, okay. Thank you for giving me a heart attack about 3 minutes into the stream.
You can breathe again now.
Give me a heart attack about 3 minutes into the stream. Thank you very much for that. I'm not old enough already.
Concentration around sort of hospital, Yasnaya, and then the milli base.
Yeah, let's have. Yeah, we have. We've got Pachinki. We've got downwheel base. We've got crates. Let's have a look at crates. So we've got squad number 14.
I see a flare got off in the distance.
Yeah, I didn't think flares were turned on. Might have got that one wrong then.
So Team 14 rotating around. They've got a vehicle as well out in the background.
Doesn't look like these guys are too content to start pushing on each other immediately. So let's have a look at some of our potential action. Let's go down to Pachinki.
There we go. There's always action in Pachinki.
Okay, so we're starting to take some knocks on squad number 30 from GK. And our friend here with the unpronounceable name, I'm not even going to try, taking a bit of damage. Let's just take a little bit of an overview of this one. And
it's got Team 13 slightly spread out. Team 5 are pushing them, but getting knocked as well.
Looks like our friend here got a bit of a flanking position. He's in good health.
I'm not sure they're not close enough to get the revive either at the moment.
We've also got some
taken out.
So 2 of the guys from GK have been taken out. They've managed to rack up 3 kills, but they're down to 2 players now. Only one team's walking away from this, I feel.
Yep. Nice short bursts on the Bison there. Because the reload time, you don't want to be just spraying.
I don't think he got that memo, Jamie. I don't think he got that memo. The one thing you got to stop yourself doing with that is hitting reload every single time you burst it. You got 53 rounds in the mag, so use them.
Yeah, I tend to do that with an M249 because it's such a habit when you're playing with ARs, reloading all the time. Looks like we might be having a push coming on. No, not yet.
So it's a 2-on-2 fight. We've got somebody who had certainly not my somebody from PBA in player number 1. Not certain who that is. Might be a spectator, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Certainly had a quick look there.
I think it was someone who may have joined slightly late and didn't have time to get into their slot.
Right, so we might have a solo running around.
Yeah, and they might be part of another team that maybe did get into their slot in time. I'm not sure.
Manish doing third-party peek, using the building as cover. Let's have a look at the 2 guys from GK here. Yeah, all these 4 players playing it reasonably cagey. And here we go, there's the push.
Oh. That was, yeah.
So there's only one surviving member of B4V now. And going to get pushed on very aggressively. Here we go, we're getting into it. And yeah, it's going to be an Uzi gunfight. Second player comes out, and yeah, these guys clear it up. So
it did plenty of damage, but it spread between the 2 players. That was the problem.
Fantastic work from those guys. They've managed to pick up 5 kills. They lost 2 of their teammates doing it, but 5 kills, good start for these guys. Okay, let's have a look at our general disposition in the game. We have 18 teams still contesting the game. We have 60 players still alive. Let's have a look at our friends down on Mill Base. They're going to have to rotate soon. Squads number 23, 24. And yeah, it looks like 23 might have actually gone in as a 3.
PBA. So I think.
Yeah, potentially their player just didn't get into his slot in time.
Yeah, because obviously these scrims, they go off absolutely on time, regardless. So that's unfortunate.
So
looks like they've been a little cagey at the moment. They've obviously put some damage into each other.
Well, Azazel certainly has taken some damage. Somewhat separate from the rest of his team, although potentially these guys are looking for a fast, aggressive flank in the vehicles.
Yeah, they obviously knew someone was on the scaffolding. They've gone round, but that player's now going to rejoin the rest of his squad by the looks of it. Maybe they're coming in for a bit of a rescue here. They've gone and got a vehicle, and they're coming in before the zone comes in to try and get their player.
Well, the Blues are going to start to push. These guys have got to move, so we may well come back to this, but let's have a look at our situation on the ground. We've still got some guys potentially pretty close to each other.
Just saw Team 19 there on the Eastern Bridge. They're sitting pretty. They've got people at the northern end of the Eastern Bridge. He's actually rotating in now. I wondered if they're going to do a little bit of a bridge camp there.
Okay, keep an eye on that one. We've still got Team 14, that's Game Killer, and was it Team 16? That's Los TEOS. My LT basically. We're gonna go with LT.
I've just seen on the kill feed. I didn't see which team number it was. CX Bo naded himself by the looks of it. Whether that was a badly timed throw, I don't know.
Right, it looks like the guys from LT are starting to come together potentially to push these two slightly isolated players from team number 14. 14 is Game Killer, so GK.
Already a bit of damage, so they've already got some shots in. Smoke in the vehicle by the looks of it.
The guys from GK starting to come together. Red zone bombardment coming in.
Yeah, the last thing you want at this level is to be hit by the red zone. There's plenty of other people that can shoot you.
Okay, so there's our next circle. We've got a few teams well out into the blue, but nobody should really be facing a particularly tough rotation. Team number 20, T3, they seem to be taking a very good central location.
Yep. It's a fairly gentle zone. A little bit of water still in play up in the northern edge, but it's not a hard shift yet. Oh, there we go. LT getting the rounds in there. So we have got some action here up in George Pole. Knocked one of Team 14.
Okay, let's jump up there.
Smoking that UAZ again. Wondering whether that's... I doubt they're going to try and make an escape, or are they? No, just making sure the vehicle
certainly safe. Moved it, or maybe just making sure they're putting it in a position of cover. But interesting, they managed to establish a knock, but haven't decided to push it aggressively.
No, you've got... The thing is, if it was all buildings between them, I think they probably would. But because you've got that open road in between the two teams, it would be a very risky push.
Yeah, too much open killing ground there.
Yeah. Especially if you see, I think the player 14 from GK that's on the furthest left looks to be in quite an elevated position.
Okay, we're down to 53 players left alive, 16 teams. Looks like we might have some action down towards the southwest, so we're going to quickly jump down there. This is squad number 19, KDB.
With two of their players knocked, and I can hear a burning vehicle as well.
So attempting to get the res on his teammate there.
So we've got three squads here. We've got 7 and 23 up on the hill. Team 19 getting the revive on and putting some covering fire in as well. In fact, more than covering fire, getting the knockers. In fact, that was a finish on Team 17, I think, wasn't it? Or maybe not.
So some rounds coming around Anvern here. I think he's potentially he's had a look at what's in front of him and doesn't necessarily want to push that. He would technically be pushing away from zone, only phase number 2 of the game, but do you really be wanting to be getting into a gunfight at this stage of the game that is going in the wrong direction? So looks like he's looking to rotate away from this one.
Yeah, and rejoin the rest of his team by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
South of school.
So we've actually got a bit of separate. We've still got these two squads playing peekaboo up in George Pole.
I think there was a knock on the kill feed there, but we know at least one of those teams has got a vehicle. So if the zone did shift, or if they decided to do a hard push, they've got a vehicle to be able to at least have a go at it.
We'll have a quick.
That Team 23 player just been picked up by his teammate.
Yeah. Well, these guys still quite happy to keep this a medium range engagement, take shots of opportunity. It's going to be really interesting, I think, for the development of the later game is how hard this zone shifts, where it goes.
Definitely. I mean, these guys are happy to do what they're doing at the moment because apart from the occasional knock, a few shots here and there, they're relatively safe. But as soon as if they are stuck out in the blue, then they start getting pressure from that as well as the other team.
Okay, let's have a quick look at the guys. Team 18 potentially getting into it, and oh my word, not again. Yeah, it's potentially getting into it with is that team number 12?
I think so. Yeah.
Team number 12 again went in as a 3. They've already lost one of their members. We're here with Papa. Team 12, Sayonara. Yeah, Sayonara. Putting some rounds in, but taking a few in return. Doing a bit of tap fire with the M16 there.
Yep, great gun for a bit of tap firing.
Let's have a look at his buddy here. He's got a bit of an overview. Look, what's he got? Mini 14 scar out. So...
Still only with the 3 times, but putting some good shots in.
But potentially our friends here from Team 18 looking to hold what may well be a strategic location in the zone. We're going to have to see how it shifts.
Yeah, so that Silence, is it, from Team 18? Trying to rotate and get a bit of a flank on, but he's been spotted.
So we're in phase 3 of the game, our next zone, and there we go. There's the hard shift we were talking about. A lot of guys already in here, but this is going to get very, very busy around the around the area where these guys actually are. Plus,
Team 14 from the west, they're in the Georgia Pole apartment area. They've already rotated. They've made the decision. They've disengaged. They're rotating to zone.
So it's going to get very busy around this real estate, I think. Still got 40
a lot of hiding spaces, but
still got 49 players left alive, and yeah, this is going to become a very, very busy piece of real estate just west to Rorschach and School, North Pachinki. What's our plan here, Mr. Silence? Looks like potentially give his teammate support or give him a way out. One of the two.
Maybe going up for a bit of scouting, maybe, I'm not sure.
Yep, and puts the hurt on Django there. Good work. Potentially just trying to draw some fire, see where they were. And you have to say the guys from Team 18 here, they've got this reverse slope and they seem to be controlling the ground quite well. They know that the guys from Team 21 have got to push towards them. And it looks like these guys are looking to clear this team out aggressively. Django knocked his buddy. Doing his best to heal up. And
engage as well.
It potentially looks like he's... he wants to have it on his toes here. I love the spirit, mate. Get the pan out. Get the pan out.
It's only a team of 4 in front of you, so the pan should do it.
Absolutely. Okay, looks like we've got some action down the southwest. That's Team 22. That was probably a graphic glitch, but that looked like he tried to set himself on fire there. Going iron-sighted with the AKM, dropped very, very quickly. So looks like Range here is the only member of this team still up and fighting. Does the beautiful work there, gets the knock, but Wrighton was on the wall, gets taken out, but yeah, he went down fighting, that lad, didn't he?
Definitely, there's some great work with the SCAR there, nice and accurate, but yeah, eventually firepower wins.
Yeah, it does, especially at this level. These guys don't tend to miss too much. Okay, and again, an aggressive zone shift, but we know that the water in the river is not going to play a part of it. Sometimes coastlines, which side of it you are, plays a major part of the final stages of the game, but that's not going to be the case this time.
You've got the hillside north of Pochinki, and then that leads into that flat plain before you get to Watertown. So you've got all the little ridges in the north of the new zone, but in between that and Pochinki, you've got a real flat area.
Let's have a look at the guys from LT here, squad number 16. Now, I'm fairly certain we've got somebody who I imagine is trying to maintain a very low profile. Just here as a solo, but that is the thing. I mean, sometimes these solo players, they really can throw a spanner in the works in the final stages of the game. You don't know he's there, and you go for a rotation and he hits you.
Definitely, they can take you by surprise. I mean, if he's lucky with the zone, then they can. I mean, it's, you know, people call it camping, but it's surviving. And it's a perfectly legitimate tactic, especially if you're a solo at this level. You've got to be careful.
Oh, okay. That was another little game glitch that's literally trying to give me a heart attack, but we're fine, I think.
And there we go. Look, he's ditched some of his gear just to try and make a slight difference, get that slightly lower profile in the grass there.
Right, let's check out our friends from 18. Now, to be fair, they've taken good location. They do seem to like their situations that they can defend and fight from. They've got a prime location here. They've got a lot of teams around them.
They've got all their vehicles in as well, and they've got them protected as much as they're protected. Their vehicles are. I mean, they've got to look in a lot of directions, but they've got decent cover.
Okay, we're going to try and go for a bit of an overview on this one. We've got a knock established on Team 24, purely simply because, 42 people face 5 in the game. Yeah, you're never going to cover it all. Everybody's going to be trying to kill each other.
No. So Team 24, they've got Team 23 rotating in behind them from outside the blue. They've got just under a minute and a half to go before they start to get pushed, and they're not far away from the edge of where the new zone will be. But they've got people either side of them.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of action happening off to the more western area in the contours.
Yeah, so they're using the smoke, they're using the contours as a bit of cover. There's not a lot of cover, but they're using what they've got very well. They're making sure
M24 shot straight to the head. Sleep that one off, pal.
He's also separated from the rest of his team as well, the one that was just knocked. Going for the Kobe.
And so that is Papa from team number 12, looking to have a fast rotation, get on this reverse slope, clear out this knock member.
No, because that's from another squad. We're watching Team 15 actually got the knock. Papa from Team 12 may not even know that player was there.
He just had his vehicle blown.
Coming in for a bit of third partying, I think.
So we are down to 12 teams, 34 players still left alive.
There we go. We've got all the little ridges and hills in the northern end of the zone that are now in play.
Let's check out our friends from Team 18. They're still controlling the ground that they've established themselves in. They're getting into it with, well, everyone, frankly. Squad number 14, squad number 24.
I mean, if you look on the mini-map...
Yep, that's the vehicle blown, and I think a knock established there. So we're down to 27 players, 9 teams still contesting. These guys have picked up 8 kills. They've managed to move well, defend well. They've still got, most importantly, they've still got all 4 of their players up and running.
Yeah, and they're still in zone. They've been, it's a good strong rotation to a good place of cover. They're lucky that is still in.
So Team 15 coming in for a fast rotation. Looks like they're potentially going to take. Are they going to try and crash this area where Team 18 or just use the reverse slopes of the hill? Looks like they're using the reverse slopes of the hill here.
Yep. Coming in, trying to take centre zone.
That's 2 knocks established on Team 15, probably from the guys from Team 18 up on the CNL up on the hill. Oh, Mush has seen, basically all 3 of his team get taken out, so he's now going to be running as a solo. You have to say, Team 18 are using the ground and their cover very, very well here. They got in nice and early, set up shop, and they've been fighting hard for it ever since.
Definitely. And no one's really been able to get close to them because if you could, crash it, because they're looking in so many different directions. I mean, you can see the number of kills they've got.
Sorry, CN1, this is actually a tip-top team.
Oh, right.
And they've still got great location here. We're in phase 6 of the game. 14 players, 6 teams.
Yeah, I'd imagine most of their kills have come from the brilliant defence of their location that they took really early.
We've got a drop out there. I can't imagine anybody really wants to go for that one right now.
Down to 3 teams already.
Okay, there's our zone shift. And Piggy certainly putting the rounds into that. And again, that's broken really well for the guys from Tip Top here. Not too far at all.
Everyone's got to come past them.
Everybody else is outside this circle. So if these guys continue to hold the ground the way they're doing, you'd have to say they have a very, very good position. We're down to 9 players. 3 teams still contesting. Let's look at our friends from GK. Certainly coming under it. They're outside the zone and they've got nothing but hurt in front of them. Yep, and there's 1 knock established. And yeah, the guys from Tip Top take them out. So we're down to the last 2 teams. It's team number 20 to the hop and T3, and we are here with Tip Top.
20 are going to be pushed, and they've already got 2 knocks.
They've got knocks established on them, and I think, you know what, these guys. There's a kill shot, and yeah, you have to say the guys from squad number 18, Tip Top, there really did hold the ground very, very well. Rotated early, defended their situation, and basically took care of anybody that came near him. It was a masterclass in covering ground, basically covering flanks and fighting from your position. I imagine that's probably an area that they've scouted before and know they can defend really well. It was just fantastic play from the guys there.
Yeah, and it's not like you could only say it was a defensive position because they were so aggressive. They were aggressively defending their position.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go through the scores and the doors. We have in first place, we have CN1. That's what 11-16 kills, 6 kills for Piggy there. In second place, T3 with 7 kills, and in third place we have GK with 6. So in the top 3, our individual top fragger is Piggy. Let's have a quick look down the list, see if we have any more. Nothing that beats that in places 4 through 7. Let's have a look. 8 through 11. We've got a couple of 2 kills, 3 kills. Okay. And again, we're looking at sort of 2 kills. So it doesn't look like we're really going to get anything that's going to challenge the kill numbers we saw from the guys from CN1 there. Nope. So well played indeed to our winners of game number 1. Jamie and I will be doing a bit of post-match analysis in the intermission. So if you are watching the stream, don't worry, you're not going to be looking at a blank screen. We're going to take just a 1 or 2 minutes break, and then we'll be back with you very, very quickly for game number 2. See you soon. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, Jamie, what did you think of game number 1?
It's a hell of an introduction to
Tier 1 scrims.
I mean, you did tell me about, because I've watched the scrims before, and you did tell me about the fast rotations and the fast gameplay. Yeah, and I wasn't disappointed. Some really clever rotations, really strong play. I was really impressed by the winners, Team 18. I said it in the stream, the aggressive defending of their position. You called it as well. They'd obviously scouted that, and they knew they could fit all the vehicles in there. They knew that they could defend it well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get to teams at this level. I played a little bit with, not because I was good enough, but purely and simply because I jumped into play with the guys that play PMCO and Pro Scrims, and the one thing I found out very quickly is, one, I'm not good enough, and B, I was just nowhere near fast enough. These guys have got spots prepared. They've endlessly research contours and ground where they can fight from. I mean, these guys just don't mess about. But it leads to fantastically exciting gameplay, and I have to say that the guys from Squad 18 CN1 there, they really did control that zone incredibly well in the last 3-4 stages of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They just controlled it. Anyway, the reason they got so many kills is they weren't going out hunting people. It's just that anyone who came near them just got slaughtered.
I don't know how much of an actual break we get between games on this one, but codes are already out for Miramar, so I'm just going to jump into the room. Kind of bad form if the streamer comes in late. So we'll just quickly sort that out. So bear with me just a moment. 2289. Just like to say thank you to the people who are watching the stream live and commentating. Always very much appreciated. Who we got in there? Oh, nice to see you, Sponge. How you doing, man? Okay, we're in the game. We're in the game. No matter what, when the plane leaves, the streamer will be on the plane. We're fine.
Yeah, that's part one of your panicking over.
Part one of my panic mode. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to take a break for about 1 minute. I shall be back very, very shortly, and then we'll discuss game number 1 and look forward to what we might expect in game number 2, which I believe is going to be on Miramar. So I shall be back very, very shortly. Okay, welcome back, boys and girls. So yeah, just give me an overview of how you felt game number 1 went, Jamie.
It was interesting.
It was interesting, a different dynamic in different teams. I mean, we had the guys North George, quite content to sort of keep it medium range. Very difficult situation they had, obviously, but not necessarily thinking let's jump in vehicles, smoke out, crash the compound aggressively. Played that quite conservatively, very early stages of the game. And then you get a completely different approach from the guys from CN1 who literally go to what I can only imagine was a pre-planned location that they've done many, many times before. And they go, right, we're setting up shop here. Anybody comes near here is getting a face full of gunfire. And they did it incredibly well.
Well, it's something I actually made a couple of notes, and one of the notes I made was rotation from fight. And what I meant by that is the guys up in North Georgia Pole that we were watching, the 2 squads, like you said, they were at medium distance, and because it was open ground between them, neither squad could really push the other. So they just had to make sure they held the other in position. But as soon as that zone broke, one of the squads, they made the immediate decision. They just got out of there and they made sure they rotated to zone. They weren't going to bother wasting ammo, wasting heals, fighting over a bit of ground that wasn't even going to be in play.
No, the rotations there were absolutely fantastic from nearly all the teams. I love seeing an overview of Final Circle. 35 lunatics all trying to kill each other in phase 6 of the game, and they're all leaping about in vehicles, and it's going off everywhere. It's just that's the sort of stuff I watch for fun. So it's a great joy to actually commentate and stream it.
100%. And also what we saw is where we had individual players with squads in front of them, we saw some where there just was no way out and they took the fight on and they even got knocks, they got plenty of damage in. But then we saw other times where there was just no way they could do anything, but they did have an escape route. They took it. They were thinking tactically. It wasn't just a red mist. They actually got out, and there was one, I think, sort of south of Pachinki, where there was one player up on the hill, and they actually got out of there and got picked up by their teammate.
Yeah, it was good. It was good play. So Miramar. So this is going to be interesting. Sometimes it's an odd one, Miramar. Sometimes it can be a really exciting game because a lot of long-range engagements, a lot of sniper fire early on. So you end up sometimes coming at the final stage of the game with an awful lot of people still running around, and then it goes into a complete and utter bun fight. Or people will push aggressively right at the beginning and try to thin the field. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys go about it.
Definitely, and what you tend to get, and it'll be interesting to see the flight path. But what you tend to get is you get early action because you get people dropping the likes of Picado, San Martin, Los Leones, and really making an aggressive push to make sure they can hold that, get the loot, and then hope that the zone breaks for them. But then you get the sort of the second phase of the game on Miramar is different to a lot of others, where it's people rotating, people looting, and you can often get that slight lull in action. It's actually as you know, it's my favourite map to play. But that's mainly because I like to stay 200 meters away from the enemy and snipe them.
I know, yeah. That's why me and you are different, buddy. That's why I like Sarnok. I like running in, trying to hit somebody with my helmet.
You like to see the whites of their eyes. I prefer not to even see them.
Yeah, that's why I always got knocked, and I was like, "Jamie, where are you? You're 200 meters away." Yeah. These guys at this level, they I mean, the squad movement, fantastic. The knowledge of maps, I think, is also fantastic. Even the efficiency of how these guys loot. I know that some tier 1 teams, for example, if you're the designated sniper in the team, somebody finds a tier 3 helmet, right? There you go. There's your tier 3 helmet because you're the guy that's going to be poking out with your head a lot. They really do go into the minutiae of it. And that's why ultimately they're very successful.
Yeah, and also you've got to play that unselfish game, and you've got to play to the strengths of the squad. I mean, we've both played together and against other people where you know for a fact they're not sharing level 3 gear.
No, they're not.
To our detriment.
I know, for example, in scrims I've played in. Now, to be fair, as you know, I always said, right, if there's a Mark 14 in there, it's mine. But if there's anything else in there, you can have it. I never picked up an AWM because sniping wasn't something that I was particularly good at, and there was invariably a better member of the squad who was a sniper. So grab the AWM, don't need it. We need it in the squad. I just didn't need it in my hand. If there's a Mark 14 in there, then all bets are off. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you do have to make sure you've got good weapon distribution that play to the individual strengths of your squad, and also what those squad members, what their role is in the squad. If they're the sniper, if they're the scout, and that's what a lot of good teams do in some. I dislike using the phrase lower level scrims, but more recreational players. They don't, if they hit a crate, well, there's 2 crate weapons in there and I want them, even if I'm not particularly good with them,
Absolutely. I mean, we've played in the same scrims, we've played in the same teams, but also, we may have loosely defined roles, and that's usually around what people prefer doing or what they're better at. But what you don't tend to get at this level, what you do tend to get is those roles are so well defined, and these guys play with each other so much that they won't even ask. They all know that, oh yeah, player such and such, that's their role. They get the sniper. I need this type of ammo. They need that type of meds, and it's just done automatically. There's no argument. It's just part of the gameplay. It's as important as being a good gunfighter, as being that good team player and knowing your teammates.
I'd actually argue it's more important to have that level of cohesion between the squad. I think is more important. You add in good gunfighters into the mix as well, and you've really got a recipe for success.
Yeah, and we mentioned it on another stream we were doing, is about the in-game leader.
Well, absolutely vital role.
At this level, that is vital, because not only have they got to be a good leader, they've got to be able to see the zone. They've got to look at where enemies are. They've got to know when to rotate. They've got to make the call, because the call, it comes down to their call, when and where they rotate. Now, the team might know where they're going to rotate to because they practice it so much, but it's still the in-game leader's call.
Okay, so here we are on Miramar. We're going to follow or potentially follow down our winners of game number 1. That's CN1 from Tip Top. I have to say that was a bit of a masterclass in fighting defence, aggression from a position of strength, and they did it incredibly well. So 75 players in the lobby so far. Interesting to see where the flight line is going to go. That can really dictate how the game goes on Miramar, Jammy.
It's such a big map that the flight line is vital, because these guys will know the map inside out, but they will have their drop locations. They will know if it's a northeast drop, they'll know exactly where they're going. But it can be 5 kilometers away from where the flight line is.
Oh, here we go.
Well, right.
Go. So we are lateral from west to east on the lower section of the map. Certainly Prison Island in range, should you so wish. So are this little small islands on the east coast there. I know some people do like the drop there. I've never really thought it was that viable to do that, but some people do. Picardo in range, lots of the owners in range.
We'll probably see a few going up north to El Pozo, I think, because it's big enough. But like I said, those that would normally do a northerly drop, maybe to Campo Militar or somewhere up that way, they'll probably have a secondary or even a tertiary drop location that they would go to.
Well, our guys from Team 18 are winners of game number 1, still on the plane. Looks like we've got a reasonable. Doesn't look like many people ahead of Picardo at the moment. Looks like only squad number 23 potentially.
I'm very surprised at that. Picardo, San Martin, such popular places. The loot's good.
Hang on, I think we might have two squads so close to each other we can't see them on the map there.
Yeah, we've got Team 23 and someone underneath them as well.
Although, I for one, Picardo, a bit like school actually on Erangel, Picardo used to have incredible loot, and then it all of a sudden just wasn't quite so good anymore.
No.
Okay, we're here with squad number 10. That's the guys from GC.
So they've Team 9 there. They've already lost one player, and Team 10 they've had one player with a bit of damage taken out, even in this early phase. So Team 10, they've got a nice overview.
Yeah, the guys, and here we go. Bit of tap fire with the Mini 14. Stitch that, pal. Doesn't quite establish the knock. But, that might give them a moment of pause.
Well, yeah, because Team 9 have already lost one player to Team 10, and that was nearly a second then.
So let's have a look at these guys content to loot, consolidate. Got vehicles available if they want to rotate, or are they potentially want to fight this one out? To be honest with you, unless they're a hyper-aggressive team, I very much doubt that these guys are going to start pushing very aggressively at each other. Well, okay, I was wrong.
Well, you did say unless they're hyper-aggressive, and I would say that maybe we found a couple of hyper-aggressive teams, because they're getting into it from the start.
Yeah, I think these guys have got some anger management issues. I really do.
And you love it.
I do. I've always loved it. Okay, we're just going to quickly have a look at the map. There's our first zone, nice and central. So, although no rotation on Miramar is easy, we're certainly not going to be.
Looks busy.
Does indeed. Let's have a quick check down here. Squad number 21. That's the guys from EAS Europa. They've got squad number 17, SD, and squad number 15, that's LDI EU. Not too far away at all. I think sometimes that's what makes Miramar so interesting, is you can have these long-range gunfights across large expanses of, nothing. And then you have these huge towns where you can literally rotate, and you've got a huge amount of cover. But we're obviously getting into it here.
Team 21, they've run across. They've made sure they get over to Team 17.
In come the nades. We've established some knocks. Looks like Squawks here needs to come in. He's holding it. He wants to try and assist his teammates in this gunfight.
Yeah, good bit of defense so far.
And our friends from team number 21, they're down 2 players already from EAS.
So they went aggressive, and it may not have 100% paid off for them. Not yet. I mean, we'll see, but. And you can see on the minimap, you got Team 15 coming in behind Team 21 as well.
Absolutely. Not really at this moment in time. He's got a good position of cover from Team 17 here, but not great from the perspective of 15 pushing in behind him.
No, you can obviously hear him.
Let's have a look at our friend Mush over here. He's I think he's got a good idea what he's looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, you lucky little boy! You
a lovely little bit of big move there.
yeah. I think he was about to get a load of 5.56. Still might at this rate. We'll just stay with this one for a little bit.
I'm wondering if that gas can is close enough that he shot it. He could actually get the knock.
Don't think it is, but he probably doesn't want to run past it in case the other guy opens up as he's going past it.
Yeah. I mean, that is it's a bit of a sneaky move if you do it. I managed to do it once or twice, but it does feel good, but not when you're on the receiving end.
No, I have seen scrims ended that way. Yeah, part gas cans up and down the stairs, especially in Erringle. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh. He's been waiting for that for a little while, so he establishes the knock.
Yeah. Bit of patience and then some very accurate firing. And of course, he doesn't know where his teammates are. He knows it's knocked, but he doesn't know whether all his teammates are standing next to him.
Got a position to cover here. Looks like it's not necessarily. He wants to leave this guy. Yeah, and he's gone down.
Yeah, so all he knows is that he's now got the kill and going to go after Team 17 next, I'm guessing. So
yeah, let's have a quick look at the map, just make sure we're not missing something hugely exciting. I do like to stay with a gunfight if we start watching it, though.
It's another gentle zone we've got. There's no hard shift yet.
So, squad number 15, they've gone for almost a sort of 2-2 split here.
Yeah. Team 17 have, on the whole, they've got out of that fight now.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, rounds going out. So, yeah, potentially these guys were going to avoid each other, but once you establish the knock, let's see if these guys want to push it aggressively. They've got a bit of open ground to cover, though. And 15 are really quite separated off. So, do they want to take the time to hunt these guys down? They're edge of zone, so they don't have to worry about the pressure of rotation just yet.
No, and they've got plenty of cover in the city as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Doesn't look like anyone's backing down here.
no, I don't. I get the feeling that these two teams are deciding that only one of them's walking away from this. But how aggressively they push it, let's see.
Oh, it looks like Team 15 have found a vehicle, though. I think they might be leaving the fight.
Yeah, looks like 15 rotating out.
Yeah.
Okay, we are 63 players still left alive, 18 teams. And
starting to get congested in that little area around the San Martin area.
Yep, and our winners from game number 1. They're actually nice little location, surfing the edge of the circle. Not too many people around them at the moment.
They've had quite a stress-free time of it so far. I think they landed Puerto Paraiso, and they've just been rotating up the small compounds up the side of the coast there.
Okay, let's check out the guys from B1 or B12. They're getting into it with the guys from team number 7, the 963.
Some beautiful tap firing there. Not something you see that often with the AKM, but it's effective.
It can be, actually. I've managed to tap fire out a squad once from long range with an AKM. Never managed it since. But yeah, it can be. At the end of the day, it has high damage per round. So if you can land them.
Yeah. What you won't get is people spraying with it from distance, like you can in M4.
No, it's pretty uncontrollable.
Although I think we've both been playing long enough, we remember the days when you could strap an 8 times to an AKM and just spray the ceiling.
Yeah, no, good old days. Yeah, 8 times spray with an M4. Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, here we go. My favourite weapon, the Kar 98. So he knows roughly where they are. But they're moving so well.
Smoking out. They've certainly he's poked this 3 times there, so they're aware of his location. He wants to be careful he doesn't get clipped himself.
Yeah. But he's obviously rattled them enough that they're smoking and getting out of there.
Okay, there is our next circle. Reasonably well, this is what we were talking about before the game, wasn't it? Sometimes can be a little bit quiet early in mid-game.
Yeah. We've got a few teams near each other, but there's no sort of mass fights going on. Although it looks like sort of the east of San Martin around Hacienda, north of Graveyard, that's looking a little bit congested where people fight for good cover.
Yeah, let's have a quick check on our friends from squad number 23. They're getting into it with team number 19. So we've got the guys from, what's this, PB?
So here we got, they're a full team this time. So you remember they had one of their players, unfortunately, was in position number 1 in the last game.
Yeah.
So they're actually here without the disadvantage this time.
And these guys certainly putting some round each other. Looks like, who's that, Fidelity? There. He's pushed a little bit further ahead than the rest of his team. And I don't know what that VW van was doing. Acrobatics. I'll give it a 9.9. Well done.
If you can do it again, I'll be impressed. So it looks like we've got Fidelity and Azazel being a bit cagey against each other up close, and then everyone else holding back slightly and sniping.
Yeah, and Fidelity's just waiting for that guy to pop his head out for slightly too long. Doesn't quite make the shot there.
No. He might have to throw a few speculative
ones. Yeah, and he does it.
Oh. Yeah. There he goes, and follows up with the M4 as well. No.
Thank you very much. You poked a little bit too often at the same location there, my friend.
Will he go back to his team? Will he go for the solo push on him?
Well, it's risky, I think. Solo push. He hasn't got the backup of his teammates, so I think he's going back to his team, which is probably the right call.
Yeah, so that's his job done for that phase.
Yeah, absolutely. Scouted him out, established the knock.
It looks like, are they going to... I wonder if they're going for a different location or whether they're going to go to the push.
Well, they're taking a bit of damage, these guys.
Yeah.
That was an expensive rotation. Okay. We'll be guilty of following the same teams for too long, so we're going to have a quick look at the general disposition. 58 people still alive. 17 teams.
What we need now is we need the zone to shift west because there is no one on the western half of the whole map.
I feel we probably need an aggressive zone shift just to mix this one up a bit. Only from a spectator's point of view, probably not from the player's point of view. But
I'm wondering if maybe this Team 19, they've taken some shots maybe from Team 13.
Well, I've seen so many times. I mean, you never really know where you're going to be. It's very difficult to predict your final zones on Miramar, whether you defend buildings or you defend, contours and hilltops.
Absolutely.
Quite often, sometimes the game just comes down to the dip in the ground that you're defending. These little reverse slopes, they can be so vital.
Yeah, I mean, you can try and second guess the zone changes, and obviously hard cover is the preference. But sometimes, like you say, it's the slightest little divot that you have to hide behind.
Okay, there's an aggressive zone shift. And, a lot of people who are in this fight down to the southwest, they're going to have to disengage and come in.
See, what you've got there is if you look at the northwest of the new zone around Crater Fields, that lip there is great cover. And there's no one near it at the moment. If someone can make a strong rotation up to that area, they would be able to hold that.
And everybody's recognised immediately hard zone shift, so they're all moving.
Yep. Like we saw in game one, they disengage immediately from the fight and just get their rotation done. It's more important than wasting ammo.
Looks like these guys may well be coming into a bit of a death race here with squad number 18, CM1 from Tip Top, who are winners of game number 1.
Also taking rounds from up on the hill from Team 19. So here we go, the Team 19 up on the hill, Team 18 and Team 23 rotating in, trying to get the same bit of ground, and there's messy car park.
So the guys from T3 really coming under it here. Just got the one player left up now, so that was a very expensive rotation for these guys.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We didn't see what led up to that, but that was pretty brutal. See if you're now able to get some meds in, but got people on two different sides here.
And they're going to know where he was. He took some rounds going into that shack, and I believe that may be our friends from squad number 18 doing the business again.
And what they've done, they've got a nice location up on the hillside, so they've got cover from the hill behind them, and then they've got the vehicles as cover in front of them as well.
Managed to pick up 3 kills already, these guys.
And I've actually tried to defend this hill in a match, and it's great at first because you've got the lovely dips in the top. It's a really good place to defend unless it's a centre map and you're taking shots from every direction.
Piggy putting in a couple of tap fire shots there with the SLR. Don't think he wants anybody to poke around that corner.
No.
And this is obviously a theme with this team. They just really do fight aggressively from defensive positions, don't they? Establish themselves location, then fight.
Yeah, they've obviously practiced this.
Oh, well, he's certainly putting the rounds in the juicy there. Yeah. Gets the knock, but has taken some rounds in return. Hits the deck, released a med up, gets some cover. One of his teammates has also been knocked and now thirsted. So these the guys from squad number 18 now coming under sustained pressure.
The definition of 1 HP there.
Oof.
Oh.
And that's the knock. So that was a great period of play from these guys, but they paid for it. Yeah,
absolutely. Like I said, it's hard to. It's a good place to defend, but you get people pushing from every side.
So we are 43 players left alive. And look at this, my word. Yeah, I think he might be a bit annoyed that one of his teammates was taken out.
Yeah.
In come the nades, in comes the spray fire. He's just not giving them any respite at all, this fella, is he?
No. Taking out his wheels. He's back for some more as well. And there you go. I mean, gets one with the exploding vehicle.
That was some fantastic work there from Silence. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, he's the only member of his team still up.
So I think he's going to try and get.
I think he's going to try and get to Piggy here.
I think he's put enough rounds in, done enough damage that they're not going to do a reckless push on him. They know he can give them some back for their effort.
And I imagine our friends from GK doing exactly the same thing.
Yep.
So we're potentially going to be looking at a 2-on-2 gunfight.
There we go, back up to the high ground. Plenty of crates up here, so there'll be ammo everywhere. And you've got the blue pushing as well.
So it looks like, yeah, got involved in that gunfight, took a couple of casualties, managed to take quite a few kills, but yeah, rotation the main goal. But taking some damage, doing it.
Yep. Deciding that fighting them, the blue and the red zone is not a good idea, so he's just trying to take the blue zone and the red zone out of the equation.
It's been funny, the more I keep watching this Silence guy play, the more I'm loving it.
So he's got himself some extra cover now with the blown vehicle.
We're down to 29 players still left alive. 12 teams still contesting. Let's have a look at our situation on the map.
That is a congested zone. Yeah.
And looks like we're going to be one of those wonderful Miramar zones where you're fighting in the middle of the top of a hill. You are literally fighting contour to contour.
Yeah. It looks like we've got someone else join the fight as well.
Silence here, the last surviving member of his team, the winners of game number 1. So I imagine he's probably going to want to be surf the edge of the blue and get in at some point. We're phase 5 of the game, 40 seconds till it pops.
He knows that he's taken out one of those team, but maybe he didn't realise that one of the others was taken out by another squad as well. So he's still looking at the blue, not knowing that it's actually clear for him now. He's got a clear run straight to zone.
I imagine he'll figure that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of separation between the teams now. Let's have a check out here. Team number 19. We were covering, we were with Fidelity a little bit earlier actually, and looks like they've got the guys from LT not too far away. Oh yes!
Wow.
Welcome to the bullet magnet. That hurt. Do you know what? I'd take that car back to the dealer, mate. That was not successful.
There's something wrong with it. There's holes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't a golden one.
Okay, so we've got squad number 16, squad number 11, both with good locations, both inside of a zone. Both going to get pushed.
So we see that everyone's hovering around the edge. No one's going into the centre zone. And unlike Erangel zone, that's because this one has no cover in the middle. Absolutely
no cover. But LT looking for a rotation now. They want to find a more secure location that they can potentially defend. 19 there, world of hurt. He's got 2 squads rotating aggressively behind him, and he's in the only piece of obvious cover. I believe that might attract some gunfire.
Yeah. And there we go. So that piece of cover is now available, and there's a crate with some ammo and heals in it.
Yeah, great work from Cheaty. Yeah.
So this is what we're going to see now. These little ridges, these little mounds, that's the only cover they're going to have. So they're going to have to work, as long as they've kept their smokes, that's the only cover they're going to get. It's really open, really flat ground.
And this is going to be a situation, I think, where people don't necessarily want to break cover. They're going to be forced to.
No, and here we go. The zone's still going to start pushing. Those on the long side, they're going to have to pretty much run out in the open. So, yeah, they'll be throwing smokes everywhere now.
So, phase 6, blue starting to move in. Everybody, and you've there's really no option around it. These guys have just got to start moving closer together.
Yep.
Guys from 16 now really facing it, looking to jump into the vehicles and move in, but they'll already be taking damage from that blue.
Yeah, the late zone's damage is going to be heavy as well.
You have to say that the zone actually favours 22 and 5 down there.
Yep. Here we go. So, looks like I've got a bit of natural cover as well.
So 5 actually have a little bit of cover in this reverse slope, and they have position in zone.
Yeah, look, Knight is going over to put pressure on Team 14 there. Got the knock. So yeah, got 3 knocks.
And our friend here doing his best to get the rest of his teammate, but Knight does the business and clears that one up. So we're down to 9 players, 3 teams still left alive, and you have to say team number 5 of the zone's worked for them so far, and they're handling this ground very, very well.
Yeah, 3 teams left. There's only 2 of them, but on team 5. But yeah, they've got the only bit of natural cover, I think.
Plenty of rounds going towards 16. 11 still out, still slightly out of zone to the right here, and they've got nothing in the way of cover, no contours, no open ground. The guys from 5 going for a little bit of a split here, but they're just using the contours to control their flanks. This is going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah, this is.
Wow. Out go the throwables. We're down to 6 players, only 2 teams now, so we're down to 5 and squad number 11 INS. You have to say squad number 11 have the numbers, but there's not been established on Sengwi.
Yep. So it's now effectively a 2v3 on just open ground. But Team 5, they've got this slight ridge. There's a bit of cover here. So they've got a numerical.
So Knight has now been knocked, so it is just Lex now on his own against the rest of these guys. So he's got to have a really hard time. I don't think he managed it.
In the end, the numbers counted.
Yep, absolutely. But that was some great work. And just before the end of the game there from 5, I thought they controlled their area of ground very, very well. In the end, though, numbers count. So in first place. My apologies. In first place, we have guys from INS. That is 10 kills for them, 4 for Churu. In second place, BV4, 8 kills for these guys. And in third place, we have guys from LT, and that is 3 kills. So individual key leader in the top 3 would be Knight with 6. Let's just have a look at the rest of the results here to check that. We've got one of the guys from GK with 4. Doesn't look like we've got very high individual kill numbers. Squads 8 through 11, 12 through 15. Again, not anything that's going to challenge too much. We've got 8 kills for the guys in team number 13, SD. 16 through 19. Again,
17. We've got another 8 kills there for team 17.
Yeah, absolutely, but nothing I think that's going to change it. So yeah, Knight looks like our top individual fragger there with 6 kills. So well done. Well, winners INS in game number 2. Controlling the ground well there. Just going to take 1 or 2 minutes. We'll be back very shortly, boys and girls, for a bit of post-match analysis, and I look forward to seeing you all in game number 3. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Bye for now. Okay, hi there, boys and girls. Very quickly, just trying to have something very quickly to eat there. Okay, we're going to jump into the room for game number 3. Map number 3 is Vikendi. So, Jamie, give me your thoughts on game number 2.
Well, as we said at the beginning of the game, Miramar lends itself to you get a little bit of early action where people are looting, which people are dropping, which we saw. Surprised there weren't more people around the Picardo area. But then we get the phase where people are looting, people are rotating, trying to work out where they're going to go, where the zone's going to go. And then at the end, we just saw a very open gunfight although Team 5 had a bit of natural cover, Team 11 had the numbers.
They did. I thought Team 5 did a great job using their ground, and I'm not gonna, there was a very small part of me rooting for them there. But in the end, yeah, at this level, the number of guns, the amount of effective fire is going to be probably the most deciding factor, to be honest. But I thought Team 5 played phase 6, 7 of the game there really well.
Yeah, and I actually commented on the YouTube chat that it's just so hard to call. I couldn't call it because you had Team 5 only had 2 players, but they did have the ground. They had Knight. He had already shown that he's a very good aggressive player, taken out another squad beforehand and pushed the knock as well. And to push the knock individually on a squad, that takes some good gunplay and some guts.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the guys from Insanity, team number 11, I think they were, weren't they? Insanity, INS.
That's it.
They were taking. They took the win in game number 2. So it'd be interesting to see how. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I must admit, Vikendi as an all-round map is probably my favourite map. I love Sarnok, but I tend to prefer Sarnok for solo play rather than squad. But as an all-round squad map, I have to say I think Vikendi is probably my favourite map.
It's really good for streaming as well and commentating on, because you generally get the first zone on Vikendi is usually evil and about a third of it is water. And so you effectively get your first zone is like the third zone on Erangel. It's tiny because there's only so much ground you can even use.
Yeah, we we had that insane game, didn't we, a few days ago, where I think there were 10 players left alive coming into phase 9 of the game in Volnova, and everybody just jumping off buildings trying to run into and have a massive, huge gunfight at the end.
Well, it was great because the final zone, didn't end on a building; it ended on one of the courtyard squares. So the zone was finishing on ice cream kiosks, on barrels, on anything people could get behind. but it was just people jumping out of buildings, like you say, and just running through smoke into this open square.
Yeah. Always good fun. That always good fun. I think that's. I mean, I mean, I enjoy playing for Kendi in squads. I prefer in solos. I prefer Miramar. Sarnot, but in squads, for Kendi's my favourite map. But it's also probably my favourite map to spectate and stream on, because it is just, you got the combination of lots of different compounds. So people crashing compounds aggressively, lots of good gunfights in buildings. But also using the ground can also come into play, and it's a very fast game because so often the zone rotations are just evil. They're just horrible.
Yeah. And the Vikendi Blue Zone hurts more in the early phases than on other maps as well. It forces you to rotate into an evil zone, but also you get such a mix of ground. So you've got the snow, you've got built-up areas, you've got places like Cosmodrome, which is just a mad place.
Yeah, I must admit, I like a Vikendi game. It was a game I used to. It's odd, isn't it? I mean, people have their different maps that they prefer to in the bad old days when you're chasing rating all the time because you thought being an ace player made you a good player, and then you find out that actually you don't have to be that good a player to make ace most seasons. But yeah, that was certainly a map that I used to play a lot, just to rank up on, because you would definitely get some gunfights, and you definitely get some kills.
Yeah.
But if you played it well and you were good your rotations, making sure you had a good scout out to crash the next compound, it was one that you could also had good survivability on.
Definitely. It's also a place where you can, unlike some of the buildings, say in Erangel, you can actually defend the buildings well, because there tends to be a lot of ways in, a lot of ways out, but they tend to be quite open ground around the buildings, and you've got the snow and you can see tracks in the snow, which is unique. Yeah, I love playing on Vikendi too.
Oh, we'll have to see what this bunch of bloodthirsty lunatics do with it. I imagine quite a lot of gratuitous violence, which is, exactly what we love to cover. This is a combat game at the end of the day. We're not playing tiddlywinks. I'm sure we'll see lots of fast rotations, very aggressive compound pushes, and generally a very good game from these guys.
And hopefully lots of the small vehicles sliding around on the ice, which is
Oh well,
always funny to watch.
that's when you drive them, mate. Other people actually drive them better.
Well, actually, as you know from experience, when I drive them, I drive off the bridge. I don't even get to the ice.
That's true. I remember that. That was very memorable. That was very memorable. Yes,
It
you were
even
not.
made one of your
You,
streams.
you were driving a car across a bridge and managed to roll us over the bridge, which was we ended
Yep.
up swimming across the river, as I
From a
recall.
straight line.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I have to say, mate, nobody else could have pulled that off.
No, see, I'm special. And that's why I'm here talking about it instead of playing it.
Didn't I put a slow mo of that on a video?
Yeah, I think you might
I
have
did.
done.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
But
yes,
as I said in the other game, we all came through the same driving school.
we did indeed, and it was not a good one. The guys are jumping into the room by the look of it.
Okay, well, bear with me a moment. I was going to mute for a moment.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a
I
minute.
imagine we got just a few minutes, so yeah, see you shortly, buddy. So we'll be jumping into game number 3 quite shortly. Nice to see that we've got reasonably active stream chat. So thank you to everybody who's taking part in there. Was that Shark on the road? Thank you very much. Very nice comments you put in, pal. So some great action in games 1 and 2. Looking forward to. I must admit, looking forward to Vikendi. My favorite map was streamed for Vikendi.
Back now.
So yeah, very much looking forward to that. You back, Jamie?
I am. I'm back. Looking forward to zone number 1 on Vikendi, as always. It's one of the most brutal ones you can get.
Excuse me. Okay, looks like we're going in. I hate this bit where the loading screen comes up because you're never quite certain it's going to actually come on.
No. I can always hear a little intake of breath here, getting a bit nervous there.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to follow the guys who won game number 2, Insanity, down on the drop. It'll be interesting to see what our flight line is. Most importantly, let's see how the zone breaks.
Yeah, and I think although Miramar is a bigger map, so the zone is important. I think because of the nature of the zones on Vikendi, that we spoke about it in between games, that it can be such a brutal shift. That it's even the first zone. You don't get very rarely do you get a gentle first zone on Vikendi.
Well, it's a relatively small map, but if you jump the coast, which most people do, you can end up on completely the wrong end of the map. And you've got a very long rotation, which limits the amount of time you've got to loot and the amount of time you're potentially going to be running into as you try to rotate in. So we've got a south to north flight line. So Milnar certainly in range, and we're heading up towards the port area. So Cosmodrome's certainly going to be in range. Villa's certainly going to be in range. Mount Kreshnik. Used to be one of my favourite drop zones, actually, Mount Kreshnik. So, it's going to be interesting to see where we go. The guys from Insanity out the plane fairly early. Looks like they're heading off in the what's that? They might be small compounding.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite. That's one of the good things about Vikendi is you get lots of small compounds where you don't get a huge amount of loot, but you might get just enough. And then you hop to the next one, and by the end of it, you haven't come across 10 teams in a built-up area, but you have got decent loot. But it looks like most of them are going off to Dobro that have gone west. Back now.
Not too. I'm just going to have a quick look at squad number 13. They're the closest ones to Villa. I'm just intrigued to see if somebody's dropped Villa. Yeah, these guys have.
Yeah, on their own as well, by the looks of it. Now, I did see before you went into the close-up view that I think we've got our first zone might have broken already, and it didn't look like one of the evil Vikendi first zones.
It really isn't. That's very boring, frankly.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we'll see some players, some teams instead of looting in the first.
Interesting thing is, I mean, there's not even a small part of the coast that's going to play a factor in the later game because that's just going to come in, so you're not going to get coast rotations. You're not going to get half of it out in the ocean. So looks like we're not going to have the kind of tough rotations that sometimes you get on this map. I'm sure we'll still get plenty of action.
We will, but what you could see is we might get some teams getting some basic loot and then rotating into the east of the new zone.
So we are with squads 6 and 9, and looks like 9. The guys from SD have already taken a casualty. Let's look at our friend here, looking at getting nade out. Yep, straight through the window there. Good nade. Doesn't quite get the knock.
No helmet, no vest.
It's one of those situations where you basically just win the gunfight and then loot what you need from the crates of the other team.
Now we see B12 Amir has been knocked and I think might actually be out on his own in that building. So it looks like it might be a 1-on-3 situation here, unless his teammates can come in and help.
Well, the teammates look like they're potentially making their way in. Well, he's facing a tough situation here. So discretion being the better part of valor. He does have a look there, but he's not firing. He wants a bit of backup before he comes out all guns blazing. Not a bad call. He's not got a vest. He hasn't got a helmet. But these guys are probably aware that he's about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he only got a slightest peek on a player there, and that's not enough to really take some shots.
It looks like we might have a quick peek up the stairs here. Yep. Here we go. So our friend here from B12 about to get pushed. Manages to get the knock on one, but ultimately taken out. Thirsted up. His teammate did manage to come to his aid a little bit there, but not enough. So we're down to only one player from B12 now. And yeah, I don't know if it's this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? Does he try to get his teammate up, or does he? I
think he's going to try. He's got no smoke to cover, so he's going to have to just give it legs and hope. So yeah, running around the back there, use the hill as a bit of cover.
Now then, let's see if our friends from SD are they happy to? Yeah, they actually seem to be happy to handle this from across the road. That was potentially a missed opportunity there. They potentially could have pushed aggressively on that. Now they're coming, but they're now facing two guns instead of one.
No, he didn't have time.
No, he didn't have time to get the res on, did he? You got to give next his due though. He's still up and running.
Absolutely, yeah. He tried to save his teammate, and when he realised he couldn't do that, he's taking on a gunfight.
And here we go. Going to get pitched on by three here. And then the flanking manoeuvre comes round, takes him out from the back. Yeah, great work there from the guys from SD. So that's 4 kills for these guys. They've lost one teammate, but 4 kills for these guys. Nice early action.
Yeah, and you can't fault anyone there. That was just good play from both teams. You know, he tried to help his teammate. When he couldn't, he didn't go down without a gun in his hand.
No, absolutely not. Great play there from the guys. Okay, we're here with GS, team number 24. They've established a knock, so it looks like they may be potentially pushing aggressively into squad number 17, and we've also got 12 not too far away from this, so they're walking into a big old gunfight, but they obviously seem confident enough to try and take it on.
I don't know who threw that, but someone threw a molly at the moving car, and it actually lit up one of the players.
Walks straight through the door there, gets a face full of rounds.
That was a good push by 24 there.
It really
Two
was.
players knocked.
And Lambda here doing the work from the high ground. Kills one, puts the knock on the other. That really isn't what the guys from Team 24 wanted there. They very successful push in, but my word, did Lambda make them pay for it.
Yeah, and now rotating around, just trying to get a different angle so they don't know where he's coming from. That was great, all with one clip as well. He nearly got 3 players with one clip.
So is he going to rotate on this one, or is he? Is he? No, I think he fancies a crack at these fellas.
Look at that! Just by rotating around and getting a different angle, they don't know where the shots are coming from now.
My word! Yeah, we're gonna have to start calling this guy John Wick, I think. These poor guys from Team 24, they got to be thinking, how many of them are out there? He's not letting up, is he?
No, he's still running in. Yeah.
My word, that was a great push from 24, but this young man is making them pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, on some of the other games, we've talked about a sort of a 1v3, 1v4, and usually it's in the defensive sense, but this guy's, playing a great attacking game. Even got time to loot.
He's not letting it go, is he?
No.
I have to say, I mean,
One,
the situation that, I mean, the 24 came in there, hyper aggressive. They really did do great work. And, yeah, they've been reduced out to one player who's now very much on the defensive. He's saying, come up the stairs because I'm jumping out this window.
Yeah. He did some damage from his own nade there, I think, because he was throwing a nade defensively.
Here we go. One way or another, there's only one player walking out of this alive.
Yeah. And they've both played well, you know. This player we're watching now from Team 24 is part of a really aggressive team push. But Team 12, Lambda was it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Lambda there was with some really impressive solo push.
And has Lambda just nicked his car? I think he's just nicked his car, hasn't he?
He shot all his friends and stolen his car because the blue's coming in. That is a brilliant play.
Well, he's basically nicked his car, got a position of strength, and now he's waiting for this guy to rotate in. He's not letting it go, is he? I love this guy's style of play.
Yeah, so 4 kills, 4 individual kills out of the 5 that the team got. That is a brilliant play. It really is. So he's just waiting for him to walk into him now.
I really want to see how this one pans out, but we've got to keep an eye on the zone. And actually, that's a very benign zone shift. So we've still got some guys out in the blue, but early stages of the game. And what is going to be interesting, maybe in the later stages, you've got the river around Castle Podvosto there, running right through the centre of this zone. So we could get situations where which side do you end up on?
We saw that in the scrim the other night where we had in Erringle. And he's still putting round. In fact, I think he's just finished him.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
He waited till the guy had even found a vehicle.
So basically, I went in, killed all your friends, stole your car, waited for you to survive. Now I'm going to come and rob your stuff.
Probably take his dacia as well.
This guy is like the worst neighbour in the world.
Yeah, I really like him.
I love him. Oh, great gunfighting. Absolutely love it. Well done, my friend. Great pleasure to watch and commentate on that.
Oh, please don't let the red zone finish him, though. That would be just absolutely cruel. That would be PUBG fates at their worst.
No, I think he should be okay.
Yeah, it's moved now.
I don't know about you, but when I used to see zones like this on Vikendi, I'd always tend to go to the northern part of the circle, so you've got the narrow part of the river across if you do have to cross. Just basically gives you a few more options rather than sort of around the Volnova Castle area where the river really is a major obstacle.
And as we discussed earlier, I don't like crossing bridges in this game.
No.
I'm not very good at it.
No. We actually banned you from crossing bridges, buddy. Yeah, we did.
So I'm just wondering, Team 15, they took Villa and they rotated to centre zone. So they an aggressive, what is normally a hot drop, but they landed there on their own, and now they've got a position.
And you have to say, I like the position that team number 15 are taking here around Podvosto. You know, they've got the potential to even potentially gatekeep both sides of this bridge centre zone. They will have to fight for it as it comes in if it goes around the Podvosto area. And is this Lambda guy just driving at the next squad? I think
he's obviously smelt something in the wind. He can smell a bit of blood, and he's just following the trail like a.
I think this young man.
There's a reference for the kids there.
I think this lad needs some help. He needs some anger management.
No, it looks like there's a crate come down, and he's actually aiming at the crate, maybe.
Okay, let's have a look at the chaps from, as much as I'd very much like to keep following that fella's gameplay, there are other people playing. So here we are with team number 23 from PB. We're down to 45 players still left alive, 14 teams still contesting. These guys looking to come together.
Nicely parked.
Nicely parked. I had horror images of that one being parked on the wall, but they are taking fire from team number 10. One of the 23, one of the guys from PB down. Should be a fairly easy res from his teammate though.
Yeah, but we've got someone coming on their own.
Looks like these guys are pushing very, very aggressive, very fast. So we're certainly going to get into a gunfight with these. and fighting in someone's bathroom at this point. Go for the thirst, or you're going to keep your gun in the game. Azazel doing a great work here.
So he gets the thirst and trying to revive the teammate.
Get his teammate out, get an extra gun in the game.
Yeah, and it looks like actually...
He might have the time to do it, just about. Well done, pal.
Yeah, that's really good play. Really good defensive play there. And now Team 16 have heard the gunfire, and it looks like they're coming in for a bit of third-party action.
So, very aggressive push there from team number 10, but ultimately a very expensive one.
Yeah. So Team 16 actually decided not to engage immediately. They're driving past. Team 23 getting some shots on them though.
Let's look at our friend Hobbs. So these guys jumping in the vehicles. So this is always the interesting. Always the interesting one, isn't it? Rotation or crash?
It looks like they're rotating. Looks like they're maybe going to hold this compound and use it as a base to be able to shoot back.
Well, certainly a good call. They're inside zone. So we are down to 13 teams, 41 players still left alive. 15. I'm still loving the way they're holding that location around Pod Busto.
They've got a crate coming down as well. There we go, an M24 with the 6 times on it. Just waiting for him to peak.
Yeah, okay, just okay. Don't get too excited, pal. I know this is basically, you know, heaven for you.
You're wondering why they're not stood toe to toe, aren't you?
Have you ever wondered that the reason I like the up close and personal gunfights is because I suck at sniping? Yeah.
Well, that's why I like sniping, because I suck at the up close and personal. Team 23, they're shooting back. They're not just letting them take it. It looks like our friend Lambda's taken down some other players as well.
I think that boy needs therapy. I really do.
Well, I'd imagine actually in real life he's probably the calmest person ever, because all of his aggression gets done on here.
That was just fantastic fight there. I'm definitely going to look out for him again in scrims, without a doubt. He's actually drawing a bit of a fan base in the stream chat as well.
He said about Team 15 in centre zone. The zone shifted south, and Team 23 are now pushing towards Team 15, and Team 16 are as well. So in that northern end of the zone, we're going to have a bit of action.
Well, let's check out our friends from EAS, squad number 21. They're coming under it from team number 14. And oof, took some damage there, but managed to get the knock. Well played. So we've got GK. Taking a bit of damage, and that's a GK player just taken out.
Yeah, some great tap firing coming in there, not wasting ammo.
Games Killer going up against EAS Europa, and yeah, fairly. I love these odd situations where you get literally. There's a piece of road separating two compounds, and you're just waiting to establish the knock so you can go in hard and fast.
Well, that's what we saw on Game 1 in Erringle over at Georgia Pole, where the two teams, there was a road in between, so they couldn't just do like a normal, an aggressive push on foot. You're waiting, like you say, to establish the knock and then go in quick. And
looks like our guys from Insanity, squad number 11, winners of game number 2, not too far off this.
No, I'm sure they would have heard that gunfire as well.
So we are phase 5 of the game, 20 seconds till this blue starts to move on these guys. And yeah, we've seen it loads of times. Phase 5 as well, it's too painful being out in it for long. I'm surprised these guys haven't actually looked to rotate out. Maybe they don't have the vehicles with them. They've been blown.
Team 11 are moving now.
Yep.
They've made the decision, and I'm wondering if Team 21, they've got one knocked actually, so that's why these guys haven't rotated yet, because the knock's been established. So Team 21 on the defensive. Team 14, they're not pushing though.
It's interesting. I would have said that was the opportunity for 14 to push, but we'll see. Because this is going to start to hurt now, phase 5. These guys have... This is a decision they should have made probably 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, see, he's smoking the vehicle, but the vehicle's behind a building. See what they're trying to do?
I mean, by the time you get out of here, you're already half health. You draw some fire, you're going to get people dropped from the vehicle.
Yeah.
But they've managed it just about.
Yep.
Although one of their members is still behind, so he's either got his own vehicle or they've literally just got the hell out and he missed the bus. But
I think
okay, they've made it safely in the zone. They've got a position to cover. They should be able to heal. This is actually not a bad little strategic location, bearing in mind how this circle's going to break. Not a bad location here.
No, the player that was knocked has gone down.
Yeah,
so
I think
even though they've got the open water across from there, what's good is that the blue is covering that area, so there won't be that many people the opposite side.
Okay, let's have a look at the overview of this zone. We've got a drop coming down right in the middle of the water there. I don't think anybody's going to be really going for that one.
So there's one crate on the bridge and one in the water. Now, if this were a classic game, then we might swim out for it, but I don't think a scrim at this level, they'll be swimming out for a crate.
I very much doubt it. So we're down to 27 players left alive, 10 teams still contesting. 14, despite rotating potentially a little bit late, they've actually found themselves a very good location for phase 6 of the game. Check out our friends from LDI. And these are the guys who position. Yeah, these are the guys who positioned themselves very early around Podvosto. Good strategic location. They managed to pick up 6 kills as well, so they've not exactly been passive. And nice parking.
Yeah. So what we've seen is they were centre of the zone for 3 zones, and now they've come into the small zone and they're centre zone again. They've taken the compound centre zone, and he's on the roof. He's establishing a good defensive position now.
Yeah, sending out a message wide and clear. You want to try a flanking position through open ground. We're going to make you pay for it.
Yep.
He's taking some rounds to it though. But that, yeah, look at this beautiful movement.
Yeah.
Cover straight into a firing position again. And they're putting the hurt on squad number 7 here. These poor guys just trying to get in the zone, but they've got no cover and they've got sustained defence coming at them.
And the problem for them is that they're having to use all their smoke just to get to the zone.
So we're down to 18 players left alive, 7 teams still contesting. And this is going to be an exciting finish, I think. Phase 6 of the game. Blue already moving in.
Yeah, so we see that we're looking at now, he's convinced there's someone down by the bridge. He knows there's someone there. He just doesn't know exactly where. He keeps looking, and he's got that gut feeling that you get when you're at this level that there's someone there. And the reason he knows that is because he's probably been that player that's been in that position.
Oh, well, sit on those little bridge sections and start shooting people. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, it's just typical sneaky grub move. Yeah. Putting the hurt into B4V there. And you have to say, and look at that zone that's broken for them. And these guys from 15, they position themselves superbly all the way through this game. And that's worked out perfectly for them again.
Yep. He can look in so many directions from this rooftop. Nice little smoke down there to help his teammate.
Everybody else has got to fight towards this location.
Yeah.
And I think we called it, what, zone 3, 4. These guys seem to position themselves incredibly well.
Yeah, it clearly wasn't a one-off, a lucky rotation.
No, they've managed it for every single circle so far. Nobody gets that lucky. So they're putting the hurt to B4V there. I mean, basically, yeah, don't come near my house, pal. Anybody that does is getting shot. taking a bit of rounds there, and Baloo, after fantastic work there, finally does get knocked. One of his teammates should easily be able to get him back up, though.
Well, I know one of your, looking at a bit of damage trading, I think he's definitely up on the deal there. The amount of damage he's paid out to those other teams.
Put a lot of hurt at 7 who are rotating in, but give 7 their due. They've fought through and they've managed to keep most of their people up alive.
Yep. Team 14 finally been taken out there by Team 7.
They're still up against it, though. We've got...
what we got now? 5 teams left in a very small zone.
Let's have a look at one of the guys from CN1. Winners of game number 1. He's now on his own. He's edge of zone, and he's got players from team number 23 all over him. He's managed to establish a knock on 1. Jump shot over the top, potentially. Here we go. Yeah, beautiful stuff.
Oh, great.
Beautiful stuff from Silence there. And that's really going to help him out because, yes, okay, that zone hasn't worked for him, but he knows he's got nothing to his back now. It's all to his front.
And there's a crate right in front of him, just in zone. So that's where he needs to go to anyway. So if he can get to there, not only has he got cover, but he's got the crate weapons and some fresh
He's got potentially
armor.
crate weapon, fresh armor, little building there as well. That would not be a bad rotation for him. But, looks like people are making sure they're looking at LDIK 89 there. Just got whacked for going anywhere near that crate.
Yeah, so there's people who've got scopes on that.
So we're down to 6 players. Still 4 teams alive, though. So this is going to be a fantastically exciting conclusion to this game.
So I think this is the first time Team 15 haven't been in zone. So Team 5 haven't been under a lot of pressure. Now they're the only ones that are in zone. The guy from Team 18, I think it was Silence, he's now just edge of zone, coming up to Team 7. I'm not sure.
And he's got some smoke around that crate. I think he might be doing what you suggested there, Jamie.
So it's not only just about the weapons, it's about the fresh armor and everything.
Especially at this level. Now here we are with Fallen. He's just been dropped. So we're down to 3 teams left alive now. So it's the guys from LD1, guys from B4V, and we still have one from CN1 Tip Top. Let's look at Silence. Silence taking a lot of fire there. Goes to the drop, but unfortunately, he gets taken out. So we're down to 2 teams, 4 players left alive.
I can't call
phase 8 of the game, and this is just how'd you call it? Team 15, and there we go. There's the knock, and 15 who position themselves so well throughout this game. They've got to be pushing. They've got to be pushing this. Here we go. Jump shot over the wall. Some flanking shots up close. Personally, he manages to get the knock on 1. My word, he's down a minimal health here. More jump shots, and I think he did it. Yeah, that was a great fight at the end there from the player from B4V. Well, you have to say LD1 really did play it very well towards the end there.
Yeah, they took the zone.
Is that LD1 or LDI? Am I getting that wrong? LDI probably.
LDI, I think. But
yeah, LDI EU. Yeah. But Baloo, especially the work he was doing on that roof there, fantastic rotations and positioning all the way through that game, even from phase 4 of the game, was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Baloo, he didn't get all the team kills. It looks like Abarossi got 6. But what he was doing, he was putting so much damage into the other teams that it just weakened them so much they couldn't come up to a fight. It was always not an equal fight when they got there.
Oh, he certainly put the hurt on an awful lot of players. So anyway, let's do our scores on the doors. In first place, LDI, fantastic game for those guys. 11 kills, 6 for Abarossi. In second place, we have the guys from B4V. They have 5 kills, and in third place, CN1 from Tip Top, our winners of game number 1, with 6 kills. So in the top 3, looks like Abarossi is our top fragger with 6. We'll check the rest of the results just to make sure. Looks like we've got, is it Feng there from SD with 6 kills?
Yep.
So we'll check 8 through 11.
We also know that, was it Lambda had quite a few. I didn't see how many he had in the end.
I don't. Well, we're about to find out. 6 from Lambda, who, quite frankly, is my my role model from now forward.
Well, I've seen a couple of comments on the YouTube chat. Actually, I think there's a little fan club growing there.
I
After
think
that game.
after that gameplay, I think he's going to get groupies. So we're at 6 kills, I think, for top fragger, shared by 2 players so far. And yeah, so Lambda and Avarosi taking our individual top fraggers there. Great work from the guys from LDI. Fantastic position. We will talk about this a little bit more post game before we get into game number 4. Just going to take a very, very short break. And boys and girls, we will be back with you very shortly indeed. Bye for now. So, Jammy, we asked for an exciting game on Vikendi. We didn't get exciting zone shifts, but we got an exciting game.
We certainly did, yeah. The players and a couple of players in particular made up for the, like I say, the fairly benign zone shifts. We don't usually see that on Vikendi, but there was some great play in there.
Some great gunfighting.
Yeah, and it's unusual that we see, because usually we'd rave about a particular team, but on this one, it's got to be the individual play. We've seen players defend against a team or try to. We've seen in other games like a 1v3 or 1v4, and they've always come on the loser side. But to actually be aggressive and attack a team on your own, it takes guts, but it also takes some really good gameplay.
Well, especially at this level. I mean, you're not dealing with casual players. So if you're prepared as a single player to say, do you know what? There might be 3 of you, and you might have just crashed my zone and killed my teammates, but I'm not going, and I'm going at you. And then to walk away from that as the winner was, frankly, fantastic play from Lambda there. But
and not only that, he stole his car.
And then stole his car. I mean, added to insult to injury. Stole his rifle, stole his ammunition, then stole his car. I mean, wow, that guy's got no limits. But also, I think we have to comment on outstanding positional play from our winners in that game, team number 15, LDI.
Absolutely, and it wasn't that they got lucky in one zone. Because, you can see that with a fairly benign zone change, if you've got a good location, you can be lucky with that. But it was every zone. And when the zone did shift, they made sure they got into a strong position and they held it. From that rooftop, Baloo was just putting the hurt into anyone who came within 300 meters of him.
Yeah, I think it was team number 7, wasn't it, with trying the rotation in, and God, he made him pay for it. 7 did a great job because they kept most of their guys on their feet, but my word, did he make it difficult for them.
Yeah, they had an open zone. They had trees and they had smoke, but he made sure they couldn't just walk up to the compound.
So, game number 4, Sarnock. Now, my favourite map was a solo. Not one that lends itself sniping opportunity, so probably not one of your favourites, Jamie, am I right?
It's not. It's not. This map's all about getting close, getting sweaty, snaking, crashing buildings, but not, generally not in a vehicle.
You don't do you don't. This is the reason I enjoy Sarnock, especially in higher level scrims, is because the dynamic of the whole game almost changes. Hardly anybody rotates by vehicle. So it's all about moving on foot. It's all about action, jumping between hardcover to hardcover. I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed it, because it literally is sort of you've got to go hardcover. You've got to be thinking about the ground and the terrain. You've got to be looking at the concourse, because if you don't, there's some guy 20 feet away that you don't know he's there, and he just blows you away.
Absolutely, and also just small things make such a big difference in Sandhock. Where if you think about the small rivers, I mean, they're virtually streams. There's nothing to them. And on Sandhock, somewhere like Erangel or Miramar or Vikendi, a small stream, a small river, you just cross it. It's nothing. It's just part of the terrain. On Sandhock, if you're caught trying to cross a river and you don't have any cover, you're out in the open, and it can make a huge difference.
Oh dear, yeah. Someone just went down the wrong hole there, mate.
It's because you've been talking about snipers too much, and it's getting in your throat.
You're
just allergic to them.
In real life, I was actually I actually was one, but in this game, I suck at it.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but even things like what would be just a normal river or a stream in another map, you just cross it. You don't even think about it. It's just part of the terrain. But in Sandhock, crossing a river becomes a tactical decision. Do you go in the open over a bridge? Do you try and swim under it? If you get caught in just the narrowest of streams in Sandhock, you can get caught, and it can do some real damage.
Oh, God. A classic example of that is around Painan. I mean, it's only a tiny little footbridge, and there's two of them there, and you've also got the little dirt area where you can run across. But my word, crossing that when you know there's people on the other side of those buildings, that is, you've got to pick your route.
Yeah, absolutely. So often if you get a zone that goes up to the northwest, that northwest island up at Camp Alpha, is it? I think.
Yeah.
But the northwest island where you got the mountainous part. If you can get a good location there on the hills looking down, it's great. But the most important thing is getting across that water to the west of boot camp. So it'd be interesting to see what the flight line is and then where the zone's going to take us.
Well, interestingly, I mean, normally on Sandhock, you don't really have to discuss what's in range, because pretty much all of it's in range.
You can just float across the whole.
You might have to do a long drop if you want to get down to docks or something, which was. I know some people like docks as a drop zone. I never did, purely simply because more often than not, it just meant you had a long rotation phase one of the game, so it left you less time to loot. So I tended to like places like Painan. I liked it down at on the west coast of the island as well. The areas with the lots of
north of Sami and
lots of little piers, lots of little normally quite good loot there. Normally a couple of nice easy bot kills floating around in the water, so a good way to get started in the game.
The thing is that on the piers themselves, that you can get some really good loot on those piers, and I've actually had it in the scrim where the thing is you can become trapped on there if someone rotates near you when you're on one of those piers. It's so open to try and get out.
It's really difficult to get out. You end up jumping off the pier and trying to swim in, and that's that can be challenging, but normally quite good loot, and normally not too challenging a rotation. But Sandhock, I must admit, was just as I said earlier, solo games. I just loved it. I mean, I loved getting into final circle. And everybody, especially good players, they all moan about snakes, and I can understand it.
Of course.
But if you're not the greatest gunfighter in the world, I just loved that tension of phase 7 of the game. There's 6 other players out there. The zone's only about 50 meters across, and you don't know where they are. I just loved that tension of it.
Everyone's looking at that one rock in the middle of zone, knowing there's someone behind it.
There's a rock there, so you put a nade there, and did that bush move? I don't know. I just love that sort of tense sort of almost stalking the prey kind of gameplay final circle in Sanhok. I know that's not a style of gameplay that a lot of people did enjoy, but I did. And the amount of times I came second, because when you're down to 3 players and then one guy breaks cover and you're the idiot that opens fire, so the other guy that didn't open fire goes, "Oh, you're there over there."
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like you say, that's really important on Sanhok compared to other maps, because other maps, you know, there's going to roughly where the people are going to be because you can see where the cover is. On Sanhok, it's almost like it's a free for all.
Yeah,
there's people everywhere, or you're running around worried and nervous, and there's no one within 200 meters of you, but you just don't know who's snaking in the grass.
absolutely. I mean, at this level, these guys don't snake around too much, but yeah, it's one of the reasons I always enjoyed the game. So it looks like we're getting into it anyway, buddy. Very interesting this evening. We've had 3 games, 3 different teams have won, so nobody really dominating, which is always great for a nice open event. I mean, at this level, pretty much anybody's good enough to win the event. They've won plenty enough to beforehand to just get to this lobby. Let's have more of the same. Frankly, we've had 3 great games. Let's make it 4.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think what we're going to do is, I think we can probably have less high-level stuff and more of just you commentating on some really good gunfighting. With it being Sanhok, it's going to be up close and personal all the way through.
I'm going to be basically very jealous. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, game number 4 for Tip Top EU Open Scrims. Fantastic games 1 through 3. Let's keep it up, boys and girls. There we go. So Painan, Bootcamp, Paradise, all in range there on a fast drop. Northwest Island, Northwest Island also in range. And the one thing I do like sometimes about the rotations, about the zones here, if it goes around that sort of Bootcamp, Northwest Island area, which coast do you stick to? That can get really interesting late game.
Yeah, it's a decision, and you have to stick with it and just make the best of what you got when you make that decision. Eventually, you might have to cross the water, and that's that can be unsettling.
So it looks like the guys from LDI coming into Painan. So we were talking about it earlier. That's where they're going.
Yep. There we go. And well,
that. I love the outfit. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it's purpose built for snaking in the grass. That isn't it? And it looks like they might have Painan to themselves as well. It
really does, doesn't it?
Which is pretty unusual, actually.
That's normally a pretty popular drop, Painan, but yeah. He's okay, so and look at that, boot camp. Looks like there's only one team in boot camp.
Wow. No one in Paradise.
Magpie will be disappointed.
He's probably running on his way there now.
Okay, we're here with team number 23, following these guys in the final stage of the last game, actually. Team number 5, not too far away, B4V, again, featured very much in the final stages of game number 3.
Yeah, so team 23, they're already 1 player down. I think that was one of the B4V guys that took out Distress. So it looks like they've done some early looting, Team 5, and they're on the hunt. They know Team 23 are there. So it looks like we're not going to get a Northwest Island finish.
No, absolutely not. And looking at that doesn't look like the river going between Northwest and Main Island is actually going to feature too much in the game either. So unless it breaks hard down to the south, so that the river around the Painan area starts to take effect, we could end up somewhere. Well, yeah, around sort of Paradise Ban, this middle ground, and so we might get snaky.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go put my neck out and go. It's going to be an eastern finish around Barn and Lakawi. There we go. It's a pure guess, but that's my guess. Team 5 there being aggressive on Team 23. They've got a knock.
So they've got a knock. Only 2 members of Team 23 up and running at this moment in time. And, okay, so... Yeah, these guys rotating the hell out of this one. Can't say I blame them.
No, they've lost 2 team members, and there's no point taking on a fight that you might not win at this stage.
Well, not unless you're Lambda, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, even then, to be honest, he had the gear, so I doubt, he would have taken on that sort of fight without the right loot. Although there's rounds coming into Team 23 here, by the sound of it.
Okay, we're here with team number 7. Again, they featured towards the later stages of game number 3. Got pretty heavily pushed actually by, or contained, is probably a better way of putting it, by 15 LDI. So they're here with 16 LT around ruins.
Someone's taking a motorbike. I just heard one start up.
So fairly quiet start to the game so far, Jamie.
Yeah, a lot of people spread out. Usually you get a lot of action around boot camp, like you said, or Painan. A few shots coming in though.
And this, I must admit, this is my favourite game to play as a solo. Sometimes this, from a streamer's point of view, this can be the most challenging map, this one. Especially when you get to a situation, late game, 40 people still left alive, phase 6. I mean, you just simply can't follow them all.
No,
I think because people know it is so open, they use cover so well that you can get to late game situations, and there's a lot of people left alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as we said before the game, you can be really close to someone, not know, and they might not want to shoot to give away their position. So they're all going to try and get to the late zone. A lot of people fairly spread out. We've got some up at Cow in the north, just like Team 22 and someone else.
People seem to have split into their little compounds, quite happy to stay content, get looted at this point.
Yep.
7 and 16, still exchanging some rounds, but now then, let's have a look. We've got somebody's on a bike, so are we looking at a fast rotation, change angle, and push, or are we looking to get out?
Well, Team 16 are doing the same thing. So they seem to be running along in parallel to each other. It looks like he knows where he's looking.
Yeah, I think these guys very deliberately just went to the other flank. They know they've got some action off to their left as well. I used to love that about hitting the deck in Sarnock. You go ADS and then, well, piece of grass in the way, move slightly to the left. Yeah.
Can't see down thing is a dock leaf in the way.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we've got Team 11, Team 19 getting into some action behind here, Team 7. I don't know if they're taking fire or whether that's just some stray bullets.
Oh, here at 11. Insanity are winners of game number 2. Still 60 players left alive, 19 teams still contesting. Looks like our winners of game number 1 might be getting in some contact. So here we are with Silence. We followed him quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, so here we go. So Team 24 looks like they're taking some cover behind rocks, but they're going to have to rotate in from the blue by the looks of it.
And Silence running actually one of my favourite loadouts, M4 M762.
Yep.
Needs a scope for his M4 though.
Definitely, because if you're using that for distance work, I mean, they're good, but you're still going to be able to see the people. Trying to change his angle now, trying to come up on the side and perhaps even slightly behind Team 24.
One of my favourite things to do on Sarnock as well with these buildings is I just love dropping to the deck and shooting people in the legs under these buildings. The amount of times I got called a hacker for that and said, I can see your feet, what's wrong with you?
Well, that's the thing, and he obviously knows this side. He's sticking around the side of the building there. He's making sure he doesn't expose his legs.
Okay, let's have a look at our situation on the map. So, yeah, that is a hard shift over So ban most central there. Potentially the coastal can come into it. The eastern coast.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of teams that went down into the sort of southeast. They're rotating up into the south.
And again, this is our smallest map. But look, we've got guys here who've got every rotation on Sarnock is lengthy because you're not using vehicles to crash. So
Absolutely.
There's plenty of people outside zone even in the early stages of the game.
And they won't know this, but there's no one in the northern part of the new zone. Everyone's crowded in the sort of central and southern area.
Okay, so one of the guys from CM1 tip top, they're starting to take knocks now. So Silence is actually the only one still up and running. So 24 been putting good rounds to effect, and he's facing a difficult situation. He's got 2 teammates down. He doesn't have a scope on that M4 for the mid-range work,
and the blue zone is not helping. And he hasn't got a scope either.
I don't think he's... No, Piggy's taken out, so it's down to 2 now. He's got to get his teammate up, and if he can, I would say discretion got to be the better part of valor and get out of this, but whether or not 24 will let him get away with that, we'll have to see.
Doing some great work with Ironside M4 there.
It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic work. But his teammate has been knocked again. He's certainly about to be pushed very aggressively here.
Yeah. He's trying to do the right thing here, but he's keeping an eye on that player. He knows he's there.
Yeah, I imagine his gun's going to be going straight left. Yeah.
Oh. But breaking off the engagement just to get some meds in now. And it's survival now for these two.
Oh, yeah. Nades going out. Nades coming in.
And 24 are fairly split as well, so these guys are not even having to aim in one direction.
Yeah, and they're basically just eroding. His teammate's gone down again. He's taken a huge hit to his health. It was a great fight they were putting up there, but you have to say it had taken superhuman effort to get out of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's thinned out somewhat, and the coast still in play. We'll see where the next zone breaks. No, it's coming. So that's actually not too bad for most people. We're going to check out team number 16 from LT. We're down to 44 players, 14 teams.
We've had a couple of crates come down as well. There seems to be a lot of players crowded around that southern crate.
So 16 looking to push their way in from zone. They've got Insanity in front of them and managed to establish the knock-on killer there.
Yeah, they've got to try and get through Team 11 to get to the zone here.
Had a little bit of a poke in there.
So he knows there's no one to his left.
This is the bit where I always used to go mega insane, throw about 4 grenades, 4 smokes, and just charge.
Yeah.
Which is why I never played at this level.
Getting a bit of third party there. I'm assuming that was Team 5 that took him down there, and the finish as well.
So that's put these last 2 remaining players from LT in a tough position. They've got zone at the back. Only phase 3 of the game, but it hurts enough. And they know that they've got players who are very aware of their location.
They're gonna have to start rotating now.
And as it breaks cover, tries to come in. That was probably not the best time to try and put some meds in as you break cover, but never mind.
No.
So
unfortunate, that is.
Mary, last surviving member of this team.
And this is just about survival now.
Right. Break away from this one. Let's have a look at the general situation. So we've got a drop coming down right in the centre of the zone. Team number 12 taking up central location. 17 coming in. Let's check out our friends from Insanity, our winners of game number 2.
Yeah, so they've got one night, and Team 5, we saw them get to the late stages of the Miramar game. They're coming in quite aggressive. They're pushing. They've got the knock. Yeah,
B4V did very, very well in the last game, actually, on Vikendi as well. I think they came second, I think, in the end. Right, so that is a knock established on Insanity. Getting in a one-on-one gunfight. That's another member of Insanity down. So there's only Given left on his feet at this point. He's taken down. So great push from the guys from team number 5 there. 12 kills now established for B4V. So very much carrying on the same vein that they did in the last game. Right at the edge of zone. Phase number 3 of the game. They'll have all 4 players up, ready to run and continue.
Yeah, happy to trade the knock there for the squad wipe.
Got a little bit of a rotation here, but it looks like it's going to get very busy down at this southeastern side, southwestern side of the circle, Jerry.
Absolutely. I mean, you look, it's very busy down there, and up at the north of the zone, we've got a bit of contact between 17 and 12. It looks like Team 12 are the only team remaining in the whole of the northern half of the zone. Yeah,
they're probably not aware of that, but
no.
Yeah, that's certainly a comfortable position they're going to find themselves in. This is going to thin out a lot trying to get into this zone, I feel here.
Yeah. I mean,
right, let's have a look at the. I mean, they're all so close to each other. I'm having difficulty clicking on the player. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it might only be a very short distance. What, 128 meters? It's not far. It's easy to do.
So we're here with
a load of other players.
We're here with B12, and they're certainly putting the hurt in at 24 here. Oh, my word, yeah. I'd very much appreciate if somebody would inform me how I would pronounce that guy's name, but he's shooting them up.
Yep. You can see a bit of him sticking out behind the tree.
And again, this can sometimes always be the problem on Sonic. You find cover behind a tree or a rock, but the second your teammate comes to get you, oh dear, no, you can't move. Nobody can come to get you. It can just make it absolutely impossible. Taking a knock here, I think, is more expensive than anywhere else on the game.
Yeah, Team 24, they're taken out not just by Team 6, but also by Team 8, getting a nice third party.
So managed to establish 8 kills now. B12. We're down to 25 players left alive. Phase 4 of the game. 9 teams still contesting. And yeah, as we said earlier, very busy around this southwest area of the play area, mate.
Absolutely, yeah. And these teams, as I said before, it's not far for them to push. They've just got to try and get through all the other teams to get there.
So looks like our friend, what is it, Lax there? Does he not know that he's got Team 14 right behind him? This could be very painful very quickly.
Yep. Shots coming in from B12 there out in the distance. That's obviously who he was concentrating on rather than Team 14. Because Team 14 here, maybe they weren't aware of Team 5 being too close.
Maybe they're just playing a very canny game. Yeah. Staying a little bit quiet. Although I don't really see the reason for that. They're out of zone. They've got to move.
Yeah.
And in fact, frankly, these guys should be pushing across tonight. They really should be pushing across and ending this.
Absolutely, because looking at the way they're spread out, I'm guessing they've each got a window that they can see. So I'm sure one of them must have seen him rotate in. Or maybe not, he's actually looking into the building.
No, they're very much covering their angles within the building. They're not looking outside at all. Very interesting.
Yeah, but we haven't seen them play like that in the other games. They've been far more aggressive. And talking of aggressive,
if you get the later stages of the game and you've got like the only building center zone potentially, but these guys are out of zone. They've got to move.
And they must have heard, even if they didn't see the other players from Team 5, they must have heard the gunshots.
Yeah, 14 just seem to be well, they know what they're doing, I suppose.
Yep. Well, in fact, there they go. Taken out Knight, and Knight nearly thirsted as well. As another player from Team 5. That
has really taken a lot out of Team number 5 now. So we've only got Manish, who's the only one up. And look, I mean, he's really fighting his health here. Phase number 5, you can't be laying down in the blue like this.
No, he doesn't know that they've rotated out of that building. I don't think he's going to have to just go for it now.
Okay, let's have a look at our situation. We're down to 13 players left alive, 6 teams. Team number 12, who you identified early, coming into northern part of the zone, unopposed. They've got a great location.
Yep. So all the others using up their meds and their ammo. Team 12 are just sitting pretty, just waiting, really.
Team number 12 is Lambda's team, isn't it?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, we know he's a very passive player.
Yeah. He's. I don't know how they've managed to contain him so long. They normally put that boy on a leash, don't they?
Yeah, he's probably been trying to shoot his teammates or something. I don't know. I mean, all he knows now, they're into the late stage, and he's got.
That was an expensive. That was an expensive poke from Cool Boy there.
He makes it just into zone.
Yeah, good use of hard cover because they know where he is.
And some good weaving as well.
Let's check out the guys from squad number 12.
Raining some nades down on Cool Boy.
So these are the guys who came fairly easily into the northern half of zone. So they've got Team 23 trying to push against them. Know that Broker here from Sayonara, he knows he's got Cool Boy out there somewhere because he's put a little bit of hurt of him as he was coming in. And interesting, Cool Boy is actually the only person with position in zone at the moment. Phase number 7 of the game.
Yeah, so someone's going to have to move.
This has got to be really hurting squad number 23 by now, surely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so we're down to 3 teams, 6 players still left alive.
Well, Team 14, they might have been very passive in that building, but they've got them to the final zone with 2 alive, I'm guessing. Yeah, 2 alive.
I think they were just maybe saying, you know what, lads, run past. We're going to rotate past you when you're all done.
Yeah. Now, it looks like Team 12 are all facing over towards Cool Boy. I don't know if they know where Team 14 are. Here we go. Lambda rotating around, trying to get a flank on Cool Boy.
All right, looks like 14 pushing very aggressively on the southern edge of the circle, surfing the blue as they're coming in. They've come under fire though, and that's a knock established on one of the guys from GK. So our friend here is the only member of this team still up and running, putting a few shots into Lambda there.
Yeah, Cool Boy's been taken down, so we're down to our final 2 now.
You have to say the advantages here are with 12. Now he got some beautiful knock on there, but I think it was that Lambda who actually ended it there.
Absolutely itching to get 1 kill.
So some fantastic work from the guys from Sayonara there. Taking the win in game number 4 on Sarnock. 8 kills for these guys. In second place, that's GK. They racked up 4 kills also. And in third place, we have GC. They rack up 2. So not particularly high individual kill numbers there. Broker, our kill leader in the top 3. We're just going to check the rest of the scores, and Manish picked up 5, and Knight from B4V picked up 8 in that game.
For Knight.
Yeah, 15 kills for B4V in that game. 9 kills for the guys from B12. So some of the bigger kill leaders actually lowered down the position rankings there.
Knight, for example, was shot in the back by Team 14, who got to the final circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking down, and nothing else too much in these. Nope. What was the individual fragger there? It was 8, wasn't it, Jamie?
Knight with 8. With 8.
Knight with 8. So well done, and Joe, fantastic that we've had 4 very, very good matches, 4 different teams winning as well, so no one team dominating. That's always great to see. Just fantastic gameplay from start to finish. Jamie, so what was your moment of the evening there, buddy?
For me, it's got to be that individual push by Lambda.
Yeah.
We've seen some really good moments, seen some good tactical play, some good gunfighting. But I think for me, just to the balls on him, just to say, you know what, I'm not having this. Not only am I going to kill your friends, I'm going to steal your vehicle. I'm then going to drive around the back of a farm vehicle. I'm going to wait for you to come around the corner, and then I'm going to steal your crate and your second vehicle.
Jamie, before you were a respectable person, were you somewhat of a troubled child? Because your role model is
Absolutely not.
your role model is somebody who's incredibly violent and steals cars.
Yeah, I'm pleading the fifth on that one.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, I think individual gunfighting. Yeah, I think that'd be one of my favourite moments. For me, from a strategic tactical point of view, I have to say LDI on Vikendi, the way they basically predicted where it was going to drop, and fighting their ground. A moment for me, but CN1 in game one, just fighting so aggressively from that defensive position, I thought was probably my favourite point of the evening.
From a tactical point of view, that was, they knew the ground so well, and it might have been defensive, but might be a paradox, but it was aggressive defense.
Yeah,
they didn't just wait; they made sure anyone that came close knew they were there, and they killed everyone that came close, and they won.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic play. Anyway, boys and girls. Thank you very much indeed for supporting the event. Fantastic to watch you guys do what you do. Thank you to Tip Top for, as always, running a fantastic event and providing so much entertainment. All of you at play, bunch of lunatics, but love you. Wouldn't have a stream without you. Also, like to very much thank Jerry, my co-host for this evening. Fantastic work, mate. Always a pleasure to stream with you.
Thank you. Yep, look forward to it.
Okay. All that remains for me, boys and girls, say is I believe I'll be streaming for Tip Top again on Monday evening. So until then, as always, I'm Vimes1777 177 Gaming. Good hunting, and bye for now.